Pope Francis, Let Us Dream, The Path to a Better Future. Welcome to the world of Let Us Dream, The Path to a Better Future, where Pope Francis urges readers to reassess their lives and spirituality amidst global turmoil. In this book's summary, we explore topics such as the COVID-19 pandemic, marginalization, the role of the media, personal trials, and human dignity. Pope Francis encourages us to view crises as opportunities for self-discovery, personal growth, and change for the better. As you delve into this summary, you will learn to reorient your life towards service and humility and use spiritual practices such as prayer and discernment of spirits to navigate today's challenges.
Facing Crisis, a Biblical Perspective. The COVID-19 pandemic challenges people's understanding of the world and their ways of operating within it in profound ways, similar to how Satan disrupts people's lives in the Gospels. However, this crisis is just one of many humanity faces today. The Bible talks about passing through fire to describe such trials, like a kiln testing the potter's handiwork. In times of crisis, people tend to worry mostly about survival, but crises reveal people's true selves, and they emerge either better or worse. Finding perspective for effective action. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the world's problems, we should approach them in specific, tangible ways. We should see marginalized people as real individuals and seek to understand their challenges. By meeting them, we make their struggles more tangible and are able to take action on their behalf. The pandemic has highlighted the selflessness of everyday heroes who risked their lives to save others. Their actions demonstrate the power of serving others and evolving through giving. The importance of connecting with reality. To serve marginalized people, one must connect with their circumstances and suffering. The author believes that crises can bring people back to reality from the abstract and virtual world. Negative mindsets such as self-involvement, pessimism, and nihilism can hinder spiritual growth by affirming delusions and preventing development. Finding guidance in the darkness. This book reminds us that we are never alone and encourages us not to fear the darkness in life. Instead, we are urged to ask God for guidance and be patient in receiving answers, avoiding quick and easy solutions. The pandemic has shown the influence of media on our perception of reality, with journalists both informing and manipulating the public. We are asked to exercise discernment and seek out balanced and nuanced reporting, being mindful of those who seek to exploit our fears and vulnerabilities. Personal crises and positive change. Traumas such as personal crises can inspire greater compassion and perseverance. While difficult times can cause misery, they can also spur positive change. To move forward, one needs to remain open to change and not close down. The pandemic crisis is an opportunity to avoid reverting to old patterns. Those who profit from the status quo resist real change and aim to return to the way things were before the crisis. However, some movements insist on changes prioritizing human dignity. The question remains, save lives or the financial system? Discerning the right path. In times of turbulence, it is important to ground our lives in service to others, meditation, and prayer. Decisions made during crises demand discernment of spirits, a process that considers both practical and moral/spiritual aspects. Spiritual discernment is crucial in understanding the world's reality and avoiding destructive paths. The crisis we face calls for renewed commitment to enduring values like human dignity, integrity, and protecting the natural world. True healing, caring, and sharing can only happen if we base our actions on these values and work towards restoring the dignity of our communities. Navigating crisis with discernment. The pandemic accelerated change and created an era of crisis and uncertainty. In times of crisis, people are attracted to the clear-cut nature of fundamentalist ideologies, which provide predetermined beliefs and answers. However, spiritual discernment allows us to navigate changing contexts and seek the truth, even in uncertainty. Fundamentalism creates rigid ways of seeing the world and makes people defensive and angry when questioned. To navigate crisis, we must embrace discernment and avoid falling into the trap of narrow thinking. Only then can we seek the truth and find a path forward. Restoring solidarity. In times of crisis, like the current tribulation, people are dislodged from their usual ways of living, and it is God's intervention that pulls them back together. People are held together by common historical memory and shared practices. It is crucial to regain a sense of rootedness and reaffirm belongingness to a people. Crises revive people's memories, and people must avoid reverting to the pragmatic categories that separated them before. Dignity comes from a sense of God's presence, which gives hope for the future, not from money or military conquests. Dignity and change. People in marginalized positions can only access the relative health of society when the society is responsive to the poor and weak. This book explores the change that can occur from the margins, be it economic or religious, through local grassroots efforts. The author emphasizes the importance of serving humanity's dignity in ensuring that everyone can access land, lodging, and labor. Additionally, society needs to focus on the environment, including revolutionizing the use of energy and creating evolved cities. Work is crucial for human dignity and overall satisfaction, and it's essential to prioritize the availability of work. The author points out that crises prompt people to move and change, but they need a place to go and must acknowledge their common connection to each other and their trajectory. Finally, the author emphasizes that people need to pray, accept change, and take action.
In Let Us Dream, The Path to a Better Future, Pope Francis reminds us that crises like the COVID-19 pandemic can serve as catalysts for positive change, self-discovery, and spiritual growth. The key takeaway is to embrace change and prioritize human dignity, service to others, and sustainability. Readers must abandon limiting mindsets, engage in spiritual discernment, and challenge destructive ideologies. Pope Francis also emphasizes the importance of maintaining a sense of belonging and shared values in overcoming difficult times. As you close this book summary, remember to embrace the uncertainty, stay grounded in your values, and strive for the betterment of the world.